This is the medical importance or nutritive importance of the cabbage. In Ethiopia, cabbage is cultivated on 38,000 hectares of land with a mean average productivity of 395,000 tons with irrigation and rainfed. So the productivity of cabbage in Ethiopia is very low, that's 10.4 ton per hectare as compared to world average, 9.3 ton per hectare. However, the production and productivity of vegetable, including cabbage in Ethiopia, are far from satisfactory for reasons. The first one, biotic and abiotic factors. The biotic factors, that is biological organisms, and abiotic factor due to the environmental factor, and soil fertility depletion also the main issue contributing in this low yield in cabbage productivity. And poor nutrient management are the major contributing factor to this low productivity. From this, low yield is primarily related to the depletion of soil fertility, low fertilizer use, and insufficient organic matter application. Hence, cabbage is a heavy feeder, so soil fertility problem is a main issue to this crop. So soil fertility decline and resultant nutrient deficiency is the most yield limiting factor. Vegetables including cabbage in different agricultures of Ethiopia. Most of them are nitrogen and phosphorus, other macro and micro nutrients such as potassium, sulfur, boron, and others. So this may lead to no nutrient uptake in the efficiency of the crops due to low availability of in the soil. Therefore, plant NPSP fertilizers recently formulated to solve the existing nutrient scarcity problem because it contains nitrogen, phosphorus, sulfur, boron, comparatively compared with the DAP, that is nitrogen and phosphorus. And also this important for to enhance the productivity of crops. Another main focus in the title or in the thesis is time of in application at appropriate growth stage. So this is also another main focus to increase the productivity and enhance nitrogen efficiency of crops. So the right time of in application can enhance yield productivity and nutrient efficiencies while reducing the environmental pollution. So efficient time of in application can increase the recovery of applied nitrogen up to 58 up to 70%, and also increase yield. And nitrogen are highly soluble and can be lost from the soil. So it can be lost from soil due to leaching, ammonia volatilization, denitrification, and immobilization process. However, an efficient time of an application can increase. Okay, this is a repeat. Therefore, the objectives of the study were the first one to evaluate the effects of different rates of NPSP fertilizer and time of nitrogen fertilizer application on yield and yield components of each cabbage. And the second one is to determine economically optimal levels of the NPSP and time of in application on yield and yield components of hair cabbage. So material and methods part description of the experimental site. Okay, treatment and experimental design. The experiment was conducted by using a randomized complete loop design with a factorial arrangement of 4 levels of NPSP fertilizer, that is 0 kilogram, 100 kilogram per hectare, 150 kilogram per hectare, and 200 kilogram per hectare. And in combined with 3 levels of N fertilizer, that is constant rate, application time, no application of nitrogen, 1/3 of N applied at time of sowing and 10 days after sowing, and the remaining 2/3 of N was applied after 10 and 30 days after transplanting with 3 replication. So a total of 12 treatment combination were used for the experiment, and the plot, each plot has consists of 5 rows and 6 plants at a space per row at a spacing of 40 centimeter by 50 centimeter at a plot size of 2 meter by 3 meter. We'll see the experimental material. A cabbage variety that is commercially available on the Copenhagen fresh market with a seed rate of 1.8 kilogram per hectare was used for the study. Different levels of NPSP and nitrogen were also used. The variety selected based on the adaptability to an agricultural zone of the area. Soil sampling and analysis. A soil sample was taken randomly from 9 spots of the experimental area diagonally at a depth of 10 centimeter to determine the physical and chemical properties of the soil, that is pH, organic carbon, nitrogen, phosphorus, CC, sulfur, and texture. Soil analysis result indicates that the soils of the experimental site clay 73%, silt 11%, sand 16%, clay low mean textural class, bulk density of 1.3 gram per centimeter cubed, pH was 6.1, which is recommended for, it is slightly acidic and recommended for the production of hill cabbage. Total N 0.19, available sulfur 6.5, available boron 0.33, available P 8.7, and CC 50 to 5 centimole per kilogram. This indicates that the molecular capacity of the soil to retain more cations that is important for plant growth. Data collected to evaluate the effects of NPSP in time of and fertilizer application on yield and yield component of cabbage. Data is recorded this for the following parameters, just like this percentage. Okay, there is 50% nutrition, there is 75% maturity, plant heat, leaf width, head weight, fresh weight, dry weight, head height, head diameter, marketable yield, unmarketable yield, total yield, and harvest index. Data analysis were subjected to the analysis of variance using the standard procedure applicable for RCPD with a factorial experiment as described by the Gomez and Gomez, and means are compared using a least significance difference LST at 5% probability level. Economical life parts. Economical life was the following semi-age methodology, and the cost of fertilizer and labor were considered variable costs during the study. The marginal rate of return was calculated as the change of net benefits divided by change of cost in the treatment. The actual marketable yield were adjusted by downward 10% to reflect the yield difference between the farmer and at the researcher level, and also the actual marketable yield was compared with the control plot as a reference, and the yield increment to the application of the fertilizer were used during the analysis. So economical analysis was based on the formula developed by SEMIS, gross average yield, adjusted yield, gross benefit, total variable cost, net benefit, and marginal rate of return. So results and discussion parts. Phenological parameter of hill cabbage raised to 50% head initiation. The loss of variance indicates that the interaction and main effects had highly significant at 0.01 on raised to head initiation. Hill cabbage provides a high quantity of NPSP, and as delaying time of nitrogen application started to initiate head moderately in a short period of time. Okay, the interactive of time of nitrogen application and NPS fertilizer rate on raised to initiation. Maximum minimum million ነገር
ለአኒሜሽን በኋላ ነው ኢሜጅ ሚስቴክ አንዳንዴ ስትደርቡ አሁን ያለህን ስለማያስተካክል ደግሞ ደጋግም ሆነ በጣም እኮ ዶክተር ሄሎ ዶክተር
ይሰማል።
አይ ቆይ አንዳንድ ቴብሉ ላይ ነው አኒሜሽን ሲሰራ በፊቱን በኋላ
ቴብሉን ብታቀርበው አይሻልም? ቴብሉን ብቻ ሌላው አተታውን ተውና ቴብሉ ላይ ኤክስፕሬስ ማለት መግለጽ።
Okay, interaction effects of time of nitrogen application and NPSP fertilizer rate on raised 50% head initiation table. The earliest head initiation on 49 day was observed when hill cabbage treating by a maximum of 200 kilogram per hectare NPCB. Plus towards 3 of 137 kilogram per hectare and apply at higher and at tune in 30 days after transplanting. While process treated with no application or in the control treatment, it requires what? It requires 75 days to mature to initiate head.
አኒሜሽን እኮ ሲሰራ ቅድሙ ነው ድጋሚ ነው አይዞህ ይሄኛውን ኦልሬዲ ተናግረዋል። እኔ ደግሞ እዚህ ጋር ነው የምትሄደው አይደል? ያንን ኦልሬዲ ኦኬ ለታራፍቶ ዝም ብለህ ቴብሉ ጋር ኦልሬዲ ቴብሉ ጋር በቃ ይሄንን ላይን ዊዝ ምናምን እነሱን ስለሚያዘጽፉ ጋር
ኦኬ ሌታስ ጎ ኢንተራክሽን እዚህ days to 75% maturity. The interaction fix of time of nitrogen application and NPC fertilizer rate on days to 75% with a significant effects to these parameters. So the loss is in order to this days to 75% head maturity was taken longest days 111.3 when cabbage treated as the control treatment and 85.6 or 85 days was taken as head cabbage to mature 75% when treated with the maximum 200 kilogram per hectare NPCB plus towards 137 kilogram and apply at tune in 30 days after transplanting. CV was 2.3 and LSD was 3.8. So short days to maturity due to nutrient application might be related to it is a stimulation of plant growth by the assimilation of major elements and changes in percentage and finally related to the growth and reproduction of the crop. And also to large days to maturity made because the lower rate of blend NPCB and absence of not enough to enhance the development of the crop and reduce hair formation. Supporting evidence was reported by Fatima 2012, CSI 2008, and Solomon 2010, observed on a significant effect is the fertilization of maturity of cabbage heads. Okay, the next parameter is plant heat. Unless the variance indicates that both the interaction and main effects had a significant effect at 5% level. So the interaction effects of time of nitrogen application and NPCB fertilizer on plant heat indicates that the maximum plant heat 28.5 centimeter was observed from the application of 29.83 centimeter was observed from the application of 200 kilogram per hectare and PCB plus 1/3 of 137 kilogram per hectare and apply at sowing and 10 days after sowing. And the minimum 19.9 centimeter was observed from the control treatment. The increase in plant heat may mainly be due to better availability of nutrients from the application of blend fertilizer and supplemental and since and have enhancing effects on the vegetative growth of plants by increasing cell division and elongation. The results of the study are in line with the findings of Tapa and Prasad, Akand, and also. The next parameter is leaf weeds. The length of variance indicates that leaf weeds has been significantly affected by the application of blend and PCB and time of application at 5% level. When you see the yield component, yield related parameters, the first head diameter and length of variance indicates that both the main and interaction effects were significantly affected at 0.01.
ይህንን እንዲሆን ከፈለኩ ወደዛኛው ነበር ሌላ የኔት አኒሜሽን
Okay, interaction fixed of time of nitrogen application and the NPS fertilizer on head diameter effects.
ዶክተር ያንተ ሚውት አድርጋት
The maximum 17.2 centimeter was recorded from the application of 200 kilogram per hectare NPSB.
ዶክተር ሰማይ
አቤት አቤት
ሚውት አድርጋት ያንተን ብዬ ነው። አይ ከውጭ እንትን ድምፅ ስለሚሰማ
200 kilogram per hectare plus 437 kilogram per hectare and apply at high and 30 days before transplanting. And the minimum 8.9 centimeter was observed from the control treatment. And the next one, head weight was significantly affected by the combined application of different levels of NPCP and nitrogen fertilizer at 0.001. So the interaction fix of time of nitrogen application on head cabbage, the maximum 2.65 kilogram per hectare was observed from the application of 200 kilogram per hectare NPCP plus 2 over 3 of 137 kilogram per hectare and apply 10 in 30 days after transplanting, while the lowest was recorded from the control treatments. The CV was 7.2 and LSD was 0.16. The increase in head weights. Okay, the next one is fresh weights. Fresh head weights were significantly affected by 0.05. The interaction effects and the main effects not okay. Fresh head weights were significantly affected by the main effects and not affected significantly by the interaction effects as 0.05. The maximum head weight, the maximum fresh weight was recorded from the 1.17 to the application of 200 kilogram per hectare in the PCB plus 1 over 3 plus 0 kilogram per hectare in the PCB, and the minimum was recorded from the control treatment, that is 0.46, and time of in application 0.95 was recorded the maximum from towards in apply at tune in 30 days after transplanting, and the minimum was recorded 0.58 from the control treatments. The next one is dry weight. The ANOVA indicates that there was a significant difference between the interaction and the main effects at 0.01 on dry weight of cabbage. So the interaction effects of time of nitrogen application and NPCP indicates that the maximum 0.37 was recorded from the application of 200 kilogram per hectare NPCP plus over 137 kg applied in 30 days after transplanting, and the minimum was recorded from the control treatments. And the next one, marketable yield. Unless a variance indicates that both the interaction and the main effects of NPC has extremely significantly affected at 0.001 by the both time of nitrogen application and PCB fertilizer. So the maximum marketable head yield was recorded from the 200 kilogram per hectare in PCB plus 2 over 3 of 137 kilogram and applied tune in 30 days after transplanting, and the minimum was recorded from the control treatment from the application of 1 over 3 of and in combined with 0 kilogram of NPSP, that is 4.81. SV was 20.56 and LSD at 5% was 60.7. And the next parameter was unmarketable yield. Unmarketable ANOVA showed that there was no significant difference at 5% both interaction and the main effects. And the next one is total yield. Unless one reveals that the interaction and the main effects were extremely significantly affected at p less than 0.01. So the interaction effects indicates that 78.5 yield ton per hectare was recorded from the application of 200 kilogram per hectare in PCB plus diversity of 137 kgn, and the lowest record was observed from the application of 1/3 of 137 kilogram in per hectare. Apply a swing in 10 days after swing with combined 0 level of kilogram levels of NPSB. And the next one is harvest index. The cabbage harvest index was highly significantly affected by both interaction and main effects at p less than 0.01. The interaction effect indicates that the maximum harvest index record was obtained from the application of 200 kilogram per hectare NPSP plus diversity of 137 kilogram and applied tune in 30 days after transplanting, and the minimum was recorded from the control treatments. As the run economic analysis, so the economic analysis result revealed that the maximum net benefit was obtained from the application of 200 kg per hectare and PCB plus diversity of 137 kg per hectare and apply at tune in 30 days after transplanting. Thus, based on total yield and net income, it can be concluded that among the fertilizer rates tested, 200 kilogram per hectare and PCB plus diversity of 137 kg and apply at tune in 30 days, which is the most economically feasible for hay cabbage production, which provide the net benefit of 389 82.85 ETP with MRR 1031. The correlation analysis indicates that total yield was strongly correlated with the harvest index. There is 50% yield initiation, there is 75% maturity, plant yield, head diameter, dry weight, head weight, fresh weight, marketable yield, and harvest index. Where total yield was weakly correlated with, weakly and significantly correlated with liquids, and significantly and weakly correlated with unmarketable yields. So it was the conclusion and recommendation parts. The results of the study using Brent and PSP fertilizer rate and time of application for the studied parameters shown a significant difference at 5% on days to 50% initiation, days to 70% immaturity, plant heat, head diameter, head weight, fresh weight, marketable yield, harvest index, except the liquids and unmarketable yield. When received treatments in combination of 200 kilogram per hectare NPCP plus diversity of 137 kg per hectare and apply at time of tune in 30 days after transplanting. Whereas dry weights and plant heat showed a significant difference in treatments in combination at 200 kilogram per hectare NPCP with 137 kg per hectare NPCP during the time of sowing and 10 days after sowing. So the results revealed that the maximum net benefit was okay. Thus, it can be concluded that among the fertilizer rates tested, 200 kg per hectare and PCP plus diversity of 137 kg per hectare and apply at tune in 30 days after transplanting were the most economically feasible for hay cabbage production. According to the results of correlation analysis, all of the yield and yield components except leaf weeds and unmarketable yield had significantly correlated. Thus, based on the results obtained, hay cabbage production gave better yield when applied more NPSB and apply and at the latter growth stage, effective attaining to higher nitrogen efficiency. Finally, it recommends that treatments receiving in combination with 200 kilogram per hectare NPCB plus diversity of 137 kg and applied at the time of tune in 30 days after transplanting was advisable for hay cabbage production to the districts. Okay, this is the end of the slide. Thank you. This is your presentation.
Okay, thank you very much, Stefanos. So we are going to here from the examiners. The first choice will be on for the for Dr. Samai. Dr. Samai.
ይሰማል?
Oh, ይሰማል. So this is your stage. You can give your comments and suggestions.
Okay. Thank you, Mulusau. Thank you, Stefanos, for your detailed presentation. I have gone through your documents, your thesis thoroughly, and I have so many comments, but I only focus on major ones. Only major ones. In case of acknowledgements, table of contents, like that, I found it a very serious grammatical errors. So I think you should go through that to correct. In case of abstract, you have different treatments. So an application time was not clearly indicated in the abstract. And at the same time, in the abstract, like correlation and budget analysis are very important tools to support yield result. Should not be put independently. So please do based on the comments I forwarded in your thesis write-up. In case of introduction, I found it a very serious problem in sentence structure and paragraph flow. What I found is that 2 or 3 ideas are packed in one paragraph. That is not a good way. So please correct that. Please clearly show the statement of the problem. Like why you wanted to study this experiment. You reported like no research was done at Biguin, Warada. But can anyone do research in every district? Probably Biguin may have different agroecologies. So it may be important for your study, not the whole district. So based on this, please correct your statement of the problem and correct objective 2. Objective 2 says to determine the economically optimum level of NSP fertilizer rate and time of N fertilizer application on yield and yield components of cabbage. But in case of partial budget analysis, you didn't touch yield components, right? አይደለም ስቲፋኖስ?
Okay, I accept.
yield componenትን ሰርተሃል? ኢኮኖሚካል አናሊሲስ አልሰራህም አይደለም?
ማርኬት ይልድ ጋር ነው ያው ፎከስ አድርጌ እየሰራው።
ስለዚህ ኢኮኖሚካሊ ኦፕቲመም ይልድ ነው እንጂ ፓራሜትሮቹ ሌሎች ፓራሜትር አልሰራህምና እሱ መውጣት አለበት። Okay, I will pass to literature review. I found some sequential problems. For example, in page 5, please separate its description and the requirements of the crop. You already included the requirements of the crop under the description of and origin of the cabbage. That's not a good way of writing. So please avoid that. Rearrange some sentences, page 6. Rearrange some sentences because 2 different ideas or more different ideas are packed in the same paragraph. Page 7, under 2.3, conflicting data for cabbage production in Ethiopia. ምናልባት እንትን ብለህ እንደሆነ አንዳንዴ እዚህ ላይ ኢትዮጵያ ውስጥ 38000 ሄክታር አለ ብለሃል አይደለም?
ኦኬ።
እንደገና ደግሞ ተመልሰህ ሌላ ቦታ በጣም ዝቅተኛ ነጥብ ዝቅተኛ እንትን እንዳለ ነግረህናል። እሱን ማስተካከል አለብህ። 38000 ሄክታር ካልክ በኋላ እንደገና ወደ 1989 ሄክታር በካቤጅ አለ ብለህናል። እንደገና ከላይ በኢሪጌሽን አለ ብለህን ነበር 38000 ሄክታር። አሁን ደግሞ 1989 ሄክታር አለ አልከን እና it is conflicting data. So please avoid this type of writing. Page 8 nutritional importance. I prefer to delete all because you already touched under the importance world cabbage production in agronomic practices and replace climatic and edaphic requirements like that. I have so many, but I don't want to take. But I already commented on your thesis. I will send it to you. I don't want to go through it because we don't have time. Okay, in case of materials and methods, don't repeat sentences. In the case of materials and methods, in the first paragraph, you indicated temperature, and at the same time, in the second paragraph, you also indicated temperature. Why don't you finish in one sentence, in one paragraph, I mean? There is no figure caption in the map. የማፑ ስም የለውም። ፔጅ 18 ማፕ ያለ ስም መኖር የለበትም እና ካፕሽኑ በጣም አስፈላጊ ነው። ኤን አፕሊኬሽን ታይም ክሊር አይደለም። አንዳንዱ 1/3 ይላል ከ137 ነው አይደለ?
yes sir
ከ137ቱ 1/3 ይላል አንደኛው ትሪትመንት ላይ፣ ሁለተኛው ደግሞ 2/3 ይላል። 1/3 የት እንትን አለ? ከመጀመሪያው ላይ 2/3 የት ላይ አፕላይ ያደረከው? ሁለተኛው ላይ 1/3 የት ላይ አፕላይ ያደረከው? በጣም ግልጽ ያልሆነ እንትን ነው ያገኘሁት እዚህ ላይ። ስለዚህ ክሊርሊ ሜትሮሎጂ ላይ በደንብ ክሊርሊ መጻፍ አለበት። ከዚህ በተጨማሪ ሪኮመንዴሽን ያገኘበት ሪኮመንዴሽኑ ሊትሬቸር ሳይትድ መደረግ አለበት። ስፔሲንግ ሪኮመንዴሽን ኤን ሬት ሪኮመንዴሽንስ አሉ። እነሱ ከየት እንዳገኛቸው ሊትሬቸር ሳይት ማድረግ አለብህ። ከዛ ውጭ ሶይል አናሊሲስ አምጣና ዋናው ዶክመንት ላይ ያስገባው። that is a very important one. ፈርቲላይዘር ትሪያል እስከሆነ ድረስ ሶይል አናሊሲስ ውጭ አፔንዲክስ ውጭ ማስቀመጥ የለብህም። አምጥተህ ቴብሉን ማቴሪያል ሴንቲሜትርስ ውስጥ መግባት አለበት። clearly describe how to measure those important parameters. It is not well described. ግልጽ ነው? በጣም ጥሩ። ወደ ሪዛልትስ ኤንድ ዲስከሽን እሄዳለሁ። page 23 your result. The result 50% head initiation. ሄድ ኢኒሺዬሽን እና ዴት ኦፍ ማቹሪቲ ያንተ ጥናት ከሌሎቹ ይለያል። ለምንድን ነው? አብዛኛውን ጊዜ ናይትሮጅን ሲያጥር ወይም ኒውትሪየንት ሲያጥር ብዙ ጊዜ ምንድነው የሚሆነው? ፕላንት ቶሎ ማቹር ያደርጋል ወይም ቶሎ ፍላወር ያደርጋል አይደለም? ራሱን ለመተካት ነው። ይሄ የተፈጥሮ ህግ ነው። አንተ ደግሞ ተቃራኒው ነው ያደረከው። ግን ከዛ ላይ ለምሳሌ ሰለሞን ኢታል 2020 ላይ ሌላ ጽፎ አንተ ግን ኢን አግሪመንት ዊዝ አወር ስተዲ ብለዋል። አይ የጻፍከውን በደንብ አንደርስታንድ ማድረግ በጣም አስፈላጊ ነው። ሰለሞን against your result ነው የጻፈው። he reported that short head initiation obtained in the control treatment ነው ያለው። ያንተ ደግሞ against to that ነው። ስለዚህ እንደዚህ አይነት ነገሮችን በደንብ እንትን ማድረግ ያስፈልጋል። page 24 appropriate references ማስቀመጥ በጣም አስፈላጊ ነው። ቴብሎች ላይ ሁሉም ቴብል ላይ ፉትኖት የለም። ለምሳሌ NO N1 N2 ብለሃል። ምንም የገለጽከው የለም። ማቴሪያል ሜትርስም ላይ በደንብ ክሊርሊ የተገለጸ ነገር የለም። እዚህም ላይ N0 ምንድነው? N1 ምንድነው? N2 ምንድነው ብለህ እዚህ ላይ ቴብሉ ስር መግለጽ ነበረብህ። ያልተገለጸም እና ለአንባቢ በጣም አስቸጋሪ ነው። ሊፍ ዊድዝ ዴታ ቴብል ላይ አልተገኘም። አኖቫም አፔንዲክስ ላይ የለም። ሊፍ ዊድዝ ዴታ
ምን ሲግኒፊካንት ስለሆነ ነው?
አይ ቢሆንም መገለጽ አለበት። ዴታ እኮ ነው። ዴታ ስለሆነ ሲግኒፊካንትም ሆነ ሲግኒፊካንት አልሆነም እያንዳንዷ ዴታ መቀመጥ አለባት።
ኦኬ
ሌላ ቴብል 4 ቴብል 4 አንማርኬትብል ይልድ አሁንም እዚህ ላይ የለም ዴታው። ስለዚህ ሲግኒፊካንት ባይሆንም ዴታው መቀመጥ አለበት። ሌተሮቹ ብቻ ነው የሚቀሩት እንጂ ሲግኒፊካንት ሌብሉም ሲቪውም አብሮ መቀመጥ አለበት።
ኦኬ
ሌላ ሃርቨስት ኢንዴክስ ፔጅ 23 ሃርቨስት ኢንዴክሱ በጣም የተጋነነ ነው። ሃርቨስት ኢንዴክስ ስትወስድ ምንድነው የወሰድከው? ኢኮኖሚክ ይልድ ኦቨር ባዮሎጂካል ይልድ ነው አይደለ? ባዮሎጂካል ይልድ ኢኮኖሚክ ይልድን ይዟል አልያዘም?
ይዛለችም ማለት ነው።
ከያዘ ይሄን ያህል ኢኮኖሚክ ይልድ ከፍ ማለት የለበትም። እኔ ለመጀመሪያ ጊዜ ነው ይሄንን ያህል ፐርሰንት ሳይ ሃርቨስት ኢንዴክስ ይሄን ያህል በጣም ግዙፍ የሆነ ልዩነት መኖር የለበትምና ዳታህን እንደገና ማየት አለብህ። ኢኮኖሚክ አናሊሲስ ማቴሪያል ሜትርሱ ኦልሬዲ ስለተጠቀሰ እዚህ ላይ መጥቀስ የለብህም። you should focus on the results and discussion። እዚሁ ላይ unrelated sentences ይወገዱ፣ ምንም ጥቅም የላቸውም። ለምሳሌ most of the yield and yield components were significantly improved when applied 200 kg። እዚህ ላይ ስለ ኢኮኖሚክ አናሊሲስ ነው ማውራት ያለብህ እንጂ ስለ ይልዱ አይደለም። ስለዚህ አንሪሌትድ የሆኑ ሴንተንሶች እዚህ ላይ መውጣት አለባቸው። ዲስከስ ዘ ሪዛልት ኦፍ ፓርሻል በጀት አናሊሲስ፣ ይሄ ነው ወሳኙ ነገር። ሌላ ቴብል 6 በጀት አናሊሲስ ስትሰራ ኮስት ቤኔፊት አናሊሲስ አይደለም በጀት አናሊሲስ ነው የሰራኸው። ልዩነቱን ታውቃለህ? አንተ ኮስት ቤኔፊት አናሊሲስ አይደለም የሰራኸው፣ በጀት አናሊሲስ ፓርሻል ነው። ፓርሻል በጀት አናሊሲስ ነው የሰራኸው። ያ ማለት ምንድነው? ቫሪያብል ኮስቶችን ብቻ ነው እንጂ ተመሳሳይ ኮስቶችን አውጥታቸዋል አይደለም? ስለዚህ ፓርሻል ነው። በዚህ በመሆኑም እንትኖቹን ስታይ ለምሳሌ ቲ9 እኮ ዶሚኔትድ አይደለም አይደለም? ቴብል 6ን አውጣው እስቲ። ቴብል 6 ቴብል 6 ቲ9 እንዴት ዶሚኔትድ ሊሆን ቻለ? ምክንያቱም 153000 ነው፣ ማንም ይበልጥ የለም። እዚህ ላይ ብዙ ፋላሲዎች አሉ። ቲ9 ቲ10 ቲ11 እነዚህ ዶሚኔትድ ያልካቸው ዶሚኔትድ አይደሉም። ዶሚኔትድ ደግሞ ያላልካቸው ቲ8 ዶሚኔትድ ነው። ስለዚህ እንደገና ማየት አለብህ። ከዛ ውጭ ግን እዛ ላይ ማቴሪያል ሴንቲሜትርስ ላይ ስትጠቅስ ለኢኮኖሚክ አናሊሲስ የወሰድከው ቶታል ይልድ ነው ያልከው አይደለ? ቶታል ይልድ ነው። እዚህ ላይ ደግሞ ማርኬተብል ይልድ ይላል።
ማርኬተብል ይልድ ነው የወሰድኩት።
ግን እዛ ላይ ስትጠቅስ ቶታል ይልድ ነው ወሰድከው ያልከው። ለማንኛውም ይሄ ይልድ ግን ከየት እንዳመጣኸው አይታወቅም። ግሮዝ ማርኬተብል ይልድ ያልከው የትም ቦታ አይገኝም። ይሄንን ዳታውን በሙሉ ቼክ አድርገው። በሙሉ የፓርሻል በጀት አናሊሲስ ዴታ መታየት አለበት፣ እንደገና መሰራት አለበት። ከዛ ውጭ ወደ ኮሬሌሽን ሲሄድ ኮሬሌሽን ከፓርሻል በጀት አናሊሲስ በፊት ነው መቀመጥ ያለበት። I said before it is a tool to support yield። ስለዚህ ኮሬሌሽን አናሊሲስ ከይልድ ጋር ቀጥሎ መሆን አለበት። ከዛ ውጭ በሙሉ ቴብሉን ሪፒት ማድረግ አይደለም፣ ዲስከስ ማድረግ ነው። ፎር ኤግዛምፕል days to flowering is negatively correlated with plant height. You said that. Why is this happened? Probably weather condition or some other conditions will affect that. So please discuss it in relation to available literatures. Please focus on those important parameters with yield and discuss. don't pack all the parameters. So finally, to conclusion and a recommendation, I suggest your conclusion and recommendation is simply a summary. So it should be rewrite it again, avoid unrelated sentences, keep the flow because you put here and there. First, show the importance of the treatment effects on the parameters, then the result of yields, and support the yield result with correlation and partial budget analysis. So give choices for your recommendations. Give choices. For example, in your marketable yield, the second paragraph, N2 and 150 gave statistically similar result to N2 200. This is a good option. So please see your recommendation again. In references, check your references again. Some are not found in the list, but found and cited in the main document. Be consistent. Some publication dates are in brackets, some not. Found in different lists, lists, for example, page 45 and page 46. So avoid that. And finally, in the appendix table, in your appendix table 2, ኤረር ላይ አስትሪክስ 3 አስትሪክስ 2 አስትሪክስ አለ 3 2 1 አስትሪክስ አለ። ምን ለማለት ነው? ኤረር ላይ አስትሪክስ ያደረከው ሲግኒፊካንት ነው አይደለም ነው ምንድን ነው?
የቱ ጋር ነው?
አፔንዲክስ ፔጅ 54
ኦኬ ያ ሮንግሊ ኢንኮርፖሬትስ ኦኬ ሮንግሊ ነው ሲያስገባው በቃ አስወግደዋለሁ።
በደንብ የሰማሁት አይደለም።
ያው ሮንግሊን ያስገባው እሱን አስወግዳለሁ። እሺ
ሆን ብለህ ነው ወይስ በስተት ነው?
አይ በስተት ነው ያስገባሁት።
ይሄ ትልቅ ስተት ነው። በጣም ትልቅ ስተት ነው ይሄ። ኤረር ላይ አስትሪክስ ያደረክ ማለት ስላኖቫ ትርጉሙ አልገባህም ማለት ነው።
ኦኬ አይ በስተት ነው። ኦኬ
ምን ማለት ነው ኤረር ማለት?
ኤረር ማለት ኤክስፐሪመንታል process treated unlike in difference. The difference between experimental process treated unlike ነው። በዚህ ኤክስፐሪመንታል ዩኒቱን ስንሰራ በዛን ጊዜ ልንፈጥረው የምንችል ልዩነት ወይም ደግሞ ስህተት ሊሆን ይችላል ማለት ነው። ኤረር ትሪስ በአግባቡ ትሪስ ሳናደርገው ስንቀር በዛን ጊዜ ሊመጣ የሚችል ነገር ማለት ነው።
ኦኬ አርቱ ምን ማለት ነው? አርቱ እዛው ላይ አለልህ።
ኮፊሽንት ኦፍ ኦኬ
ምን ማለት ነው እሱ?
ዋት
አርቱ ፔጅ 54
አርቱ ያስከብቻለሁ። እስኪ ቆይ እስኪ ቆይ
ፕሬዘንቴሽን ላይ የለም። ፔጅ 54 ሂድና አፔንዲክስ ቴብል 2
ኦኬ
ፔጅ 54 አላገኘሁም።
አይ ፕሪንት አድርጎ አልያዘም እና ለዛ ነው ዶክተር
ነው። ኦኬ ስለዚህ የዚህ ላይ ላብቃኔ። ታንኪዩ አመሰግናለሁ በጣም
Thank you very much, Dr. Samahany. So we are going to hear from the internal examiner, Dr. Mirat. So this is your floor.
Okay. Thank you, Stefanos, for your nice presentation and your way of presentation and your slide preparation too. Thank you, Dr. Samahany, once more again.
Thank you.
Very educative comments for our candidates. Now it is my time, and let me. Okay, that's
አሁን ይሰማል አሉ። ሄሎ ይታያል።
አልመጣም ወይ? ዝም ብዬ ልቀጥል? በቃ እኔ በድምፅ ልቀጥል፣ ለሱ የሚሰማው ከሆነ
ይሰማል። ሰማይ ማን
እኔ ይሰማኛል።
አይተው ቆይ እንትን ስለሚገባ
እንትኑ መጥቷል፣ ግን ለእሱም ሼር ቢደረግ ጥሩ ነበር።
ሄሎ ዶክተር
ነው ተዘጋ።
ስልክ ታደርጋለች። ዶክተር ይታያል?
አዎ ይሰማኛል። እንትኑ ኮሜንቱም ይታየኛል።
ዶክተር አር ዩ ዊዝ አስ?
ያ ሹር።
እስኪ በሱ ትገባ እንዴ? በሱ እንዴት ታናግረው እንዴ? ምናልባት
ይሰማል። እየተከታተልኳችሁ
አር ዩ ዊዝ አስ?
ሹር እያያችሁ ነው።
ኦኬ Okay, let me start from the title. The title says effect of rate of blended N-based fertilizer and time of nitrogen fertilizer application. If the candidate accepts, I somewhat modified the title. Rate of blended NPSP and time of nitrogen fertilizer application. It will be very important accepted title. I think it's better if the title is written in this form. And maybe in the cover page, the student Stefanos, please follow the guideline of the university. In most documents, you are not following the guideline of the university. Please follow it. Before I go to the next portion, your title says rate of blended NPS and time of nitrogen fertilizer application on yield and yield component of hair cabbage, in brackets, scientific name. It says LINN. What LINN indicates?
Reactor.
You can react. What LINN means?
Scientific name.
Okay, scientific name. Brassica odraceae capitata is the scientific name. What LINN indicates?
It is written by this way.
Who is he?
That's a person name or what's the name?
Who is he? Okay, Linnaeus. You can write avoid INN. Enough. L dot. Enough. Okay. Let me go to the second point. In the approval sheet, you write the board of examiner and advisors in a single line or in a sequential form. It's better to write the advisors in separate narration and the board of examiner in separate narration again in relation to the guidelines of the university. Okay. In the acknowledgement part, in the dedication part, you have a number of mistakes. The corrections are already given there. You can take the correction. In the table of contents, list of table is already jumped from your table of contents. Still within the table of contents in the under 2.5 agronomic practice of cabbage production. Look, there is a single subtitle, nutrition requirements of cabbage. Unless you have two and more than two subtitle or subtitle, no need of another division. Therefore, please avoid 2.51 from your table of contents and from the body 2. Still in the table of contents, in the second page, you should write table of contents, then 3 dots. Okay, in the list of table, you better rewrite the list of tables in attractive and meaningful manner with meaningful informations. Where the experiment was conducted, at which time, it lacks the information. All the table titles lacks the information. Therefore, you should correct the titles of the table, both list of table and the appendix table too. Okay, look, for instance, table 6 says cost-benefit analysis. Simply, it don't tell anything for external readers. Therefore, it should be meaningful and it should give the reader when the experiment was conducted. The same is true in the list of table. Okay, in the list of abbreviations, there are commonly known abbreviations in the world. For instance, CMIT, FAO, FAOSTAT. Please avoid them. Because of these common and known abbreviations are already known by many scientists and many pupils in the world. Therefore, if your abbreviation is very common, no need of abbreviate in your document. Okay. Let me go to the introduction. In the introduction, please use source for valuable and very important data. For instance, this much amount cabbage by this time are produced in this area, but you don't put sources. By who? Are you the first author for that? Not. Therefore, you should put source. Is it clear what I am saying? Yes? Yes, Stefanos. Okay. Maybe let me go directly to the fifth paragraph. In the fifth paragraph, look, there are within a single paragraph, there are 3 authors which are found in this paragraph but not found in the reference part. Within a single paragraph, 3 authors. And as Dr. Samahai said, paragraph 5, 6, 7, they are very long, they are very clumsy, and they are ugly to read. Please modify and rewrite again. And on the source of references, all the reference present in the body should be available in the reference part, and it should be vice versa. Okay. Okay, let me go to another point. Anyway, in the reference part, in the introduction part, there are many references found in the body, but not found in the reference part. And the other, no need of writing family name in the body. For instance, what's your name? What's your father's name? Yes? Stefanos Gadefau. If you are author for a certain source, Stefanos is enough in the main body. Whether it's in the reference, whether it's in the introduction, material and method, and in the result part. No need of writing Gadefau in the main body. But you have written family name many times in your document. No need of writing family name. And the other, when you write scientific name, you are writing wrongly. It al. You have written wrongly. Therefore, please correct it. Let me ask you one question. Your introduction says the right type of nitrogen application can enhance yield and nutrient use effectiveness while reducing environmental pollution. How? How environmental pollution can be reduced? Can you say something, please?
Yeah. Environmental, if the right time of an application we used to the agriculture, so the emission of nitrous oxide and other potent.
Okay, enough. Good. Okay, let me go to the statement of the problem. As Dr. Samahai said, your statement of the problem is very poor. Therefore, why you initiate to do this experiment is very importantly written in this statement of the problem. Therefore, you should write the statement of the problem in a very detailed and a clearly approached manner. Okay. Let me go to the literature review. Let me give you some general comments. You do have a lot of grammatical problems, and you do have a lot of mistakes in the literature review. The same is true in the introduction. For instance, a space between paragraphs, between titles and paragraphs, you have not given attention. Sentences and paragraphs without sources in the literature review. All the reference citation, another problem. Source in the body not found in the reference part. Direct copy of sentences. For instance, let me show you one thing, that is direct copy without rephrase. Example, under 2.7, response of cabbage to nitrogen fertilizer. Look this one, LESIC. You see? Can you write like this by your way of writing? ትጽፋቸዋለህ አሁን ኤስ አይ ሲን እንደዚህ ትጽፋቸዋለህ ኤስ እና ሲ እንደዚህ ትጽፋቸዋለህ It is directly copied from a certain source without any rephrase. It is not accepted. Okay. And the other, there is of Ital, way of scientific name writing. All these are serious problems. Okay. There is of comma next source and next to Ital, many inconsistency problems. I think it is enough for literature review. Let me go to the materials and methods. In the materials and methods, when you describe your experimental site Biguin, it says that Biguin is bordered at the south by Senang, on the west by Dagadamot, on the northwest by Goncha, and on the east by Hulet Junnase. Yes? You write like this. Are you sure? Where do you get this information? አሁን ያንተን ስራ ፍለጋ የሆነ ሰው ቢሄድ እነዚህን ሶርሶች ይዞ ቢሄድ are you sure እዚያው ተወልደህ ያደግህ ልጅ ነህ ቢሆን ነው ታውቀዋለህ ቢሆን በደንብ you know ቢሆን very well therefore can you tell me how Goncha is bordered between it is completely wrong በምንም ታምር ጎንቻና ቢሆን የሚገናኙበት አንድም ቦታ የለም therefore you should rewrite this bordered location maybe still in the description part you say that the mean annual minimum and maximum temperatures are 14.7 and 26.2 degrees centigrade it says and okay actually okay let me increase my speed anyway you should correct many comments are given in the materials part. In the data analysis, it is not narrated. It's very short. It's very short. Therefore, you should write all the procedures, how the materials and how the procedures in the data were collected, and how the data will analyze. Therefore, in this case, how analyze where done should be right and where should be narrated very well. Let me ask you one question. When you use LSD and why you use?
LSD is there significant difference between among these treatments to compare the means are LSD.
Okay, enough. Okay. In page 64, in the total variable cost, you put triple superphosphate. Have you used this triple superphosphate? ተጠቅመሃል? አልተጠቀምክም? I am sure. Where do you bring? Anyway, avoid it. Okay, let me go to the result part. Like the previous one, there are many grammatical errors, longest sentence and difficult to understand. You mixed different ideas together. Try to finish one idea and follow the other. You should use sub and superscript correctly. For instance, P2 of 5, 2 እና 5 ስትጽፍ normally the normal way ነው እየጻፍክበት ያለ. It is not accepted. You should understand whether it is super or subscript. Okay, there is no 50% heading. In this case, okay, let me go to the table. Okay, in the table, your LSD value, the first table, your LSD value is 6. Your maximum value in this case, for instance, there is 50%. Okay, let me see clearly. There is 50% head initiation. Your LSD value is 6, and your maximum value achieved is 76. But you have puts 76 and 74 are significant difference. Is it possible to say? Because LSD tells us significance. LSD calculates when there is a significant analyzed variation, mean values. Yeah? Is it possible to say 76 and 74 are statistically significant if your LSD value is 6? Look, your LSD value. Don't know LSD value in this case. Your LSD value is 6. ስለዚህ ትልቁ ቫልዩ ስንት ነው እዚህ ጋር? 76 ነው ትልቁ ቫልዩ። ሰሙዌር ኤልስ የትኛው ላይ እንደሆነ አላውቅም። 76 ነው። 74 እና 76 ሲግኒፊካንትሊ ዲፈረንት ናቸው አይደለም?
ሲግኒፊካንትሊ ናቸው፣ ግን ደግሞ የሶፍትዌሩ ጋር ያስቀምጡት
አይደለም። ኤልኤስዲ 6 ከሆነ 74 እና 76 are they statistically significant or not? ይሄንን መልሰል። If when your LSD value is 6, because you put your LSD value is 6, is it possible to say 74 and 76 is statistically significant difference or not? But you put, look, ስለዚህ አንዳንድ ጊዜ ቴብሉን እዚያ ላይ ያገኘውን ቫልዩ ሳይሆን በእጅ ትጽፋለህ ማለት ነው። No, Stephanos, you should accept your mistake. ካልጻፍክ 74 እና 76ን never ever statistically significant ናቸው ብሎ ያስቀምጡልህ። When your LSD value is 6, there might be two reasons. Your LSD value may not 6. Check again. 1 or 74 and 76 should be statistically the same. You should accept this idea. Okay, the next some sentences are choppy, not complete sentence. For instance, you say that the results are similar to the results reported by Muhammad 2004. እንደዚህ ብለው ቆመሃል። You should finish the sentence. Don't stop like this. Not complete sentence. Okay, maybe the other. In page 7, table 4, page 76, what is the importance of nitrogen? Mostly, okay, let me ask you this. Mostly, when you are using nitrogen, whether it is to search after 20 and 30 days, whether you use one search, unless you use the NPSP, non-significant differences are recorded. Therefore, what is the importance of nitrogen for your experiment? ምንድነው ላይ የፈለኩት ናይትሮጅንን 2/3ኛውንም ተጠቀምክ 1/3ኛውንም ተጠቀምክ your blended fertilizer 0 ከሆነ non-significant ነው ያገኘው ሁሉንም ተጠቅሞ ማለት ነው ናይትሮጅን therefore is nitrogen very crucial for your experiment or not? Is it important or not? If it is important, if it is important when you are using nitrogen as search, that is 67% after 20, after 30 days, ከዜሮ ጋር ተቀላቀልከው ሁሉም ቦታ ላይ non-significant ነው ያገኘው ሊሆን ይችላል immediately ትንሽ ቫልዩ ስትጨምርበት ግን ቫልዩ significantly difference ታገኛለህ እኔ አሁን please check and recheck this analysis and by your observation in the field which is very important for nitrogen and blended fertilizer for your cabbage.
Yeah, nitrogen is very important, but it has for kinds of fertilizer beneficiary የተሻለ ይሆናል ብዬ አስባለሁ። ናይትሮጅን በጣም ፎከስ ነው ለካቤጅ ግን ደግሞ አራቱ ቦሮን ማለት ሰልፈር ማለት ለናይትሮጅን ስለሚችል አራቱ የተሻለ ይሆናል ብዬ
Okay, please check and recheck this one because you recommend at the end of your thesis. Please check and recheck, even from literatures. And again, back go to your data. Tell us nitrogen kilogram basis, like blended fertilizer. 137 ስንት ኪሎ ግራም ማለት ነው? In the form of urea ነው አይደል የተጠቀምከው? Therefore, how many kilograms? 137 ማለት ስንት ኪሎ ግራም ነው ዩሪያ? No, in the form of nitrogen ነው እያልክ ያስቀመጥከው። You change in the form of urea or you convert to urea. either of them. ከዶክመንት ላይ ወይ በዩሪያ ነው አስቀምጠው ወይ ደግሞ ይሄንን ወደ ዩሪያ ኮንቨርት አድርገው። ይሄንን ነው እያልክ ያስቀምጠው። Okay, let me ask you another question. How can you, as it is clear, nitrogen is available in the blended fertilizer? Yeah, yes. Nitrogen are there. Therefore, how can you manage and how can you deduct from these blended fertilizers the nitrogen level?
ይሄን ማኔጅ ለማድረግ ዲፊካልት ነው። ምክንያቱም አሁን ሌሎችን አሁን በስፕሊት መልኩ እንጠቀማቸው አንችልም።
አይደለም ወይ ስታኑ ሲጠይቅ የፈለኩትን እኔ አሁን እንትኔን እየጨረሱ ስለሆነ እዚህ ላይ ጥያቄ እንትን ብዬ ልለፍ። blended fertilizer ላይ ናይትሮጅን አለ። if there is nitrogen in the blended fertilizer, how can you manage in the urea part? ምክንያቱም ዩሪያ ላይ 137 ተጠቅኛለሁ ብለኸኛል አይደለ? blended fertilizer ናይትሮጅን አለበት። ዩሪያ ላይ 137 አለ። ወይ ከ137 መቀነስ አለበት ወይ እዚያ ጋር ያለው ዩሪያ ማኔጅ ማድረግ አለበት። እንዴት? Because your objective says like this. How can you analyze the level of nitrogen? ስለዚህ ቀንሰኸዋል፣ ደምረኸዋል፣ እንዴት ነው አናላይዝ ያደረከው? 137 ስትል እኮ ስለዚህ 137 ሳይሆን ሞርዛን 137 ማለት እኮ ነው። ከዳፕ ያለችዋን ስታመጥ እንትን ከብሌንድ ስታመጥ አልደምረው።
ሁለቱም ነው ባንድ ጋር ነው የሰርኩት፣ ሁለቱም ባንድ ጋር ነው እንትን የሰርኩት።
ስለዚህ ከብሌንድ ያለውን እንትን ወስደዋል። have you taken nitrogen level from blended fertilizer? Therefore, you should express in the materials and methods unless no one can understand this. Okay. The conclusion and recommendation parts, as Dr. Samai said, it must be rewrite again. Summary and conclusion together, and recommendation at the end, it should be rewrite again. In the reference part, there are many problems. In the reference part, there are inconsistency problems. There are many inconsistency. No full information available in the reference part. For instance, volume, issue number, page number, notes written fully. There are no full informations. Some references are still not found in the body. Stefanos, you write Italy in the reference part. Have you seen ever before? In the money Italy plus 5. Money part. In the reference part, Egeli Italy. Muluso Italy. Stefanos Italy. Sting Italy. Money Italy. Italy ብዬ አንተ ኢታል ብለህ ከጻፍከው ባለቤቱ ማን ይጨርሳል? Ital should be used if the sources are 3 and above in the body part only. Whether the writers are, the authors are 20, 30, 10, 5, 6, they should be present in the reference part. No need of Ital in the reference part. Look, but you put Ital in the reference part. Maybe the other journal should be italicized. I think there are many suggestions, comments, corrections have given in your document. For the time being, I think it's better to stop here for me. Thank you, the chairperson. Let me stop here.
Thank you very much, Dr. Murat. We are glad that both the internal and external exam will give you very detailed comments. So if you have any feedback, actually most of them are comments that should be incorporated. Yes. So if you have anything that you want to complain, let me give that. Or if you, unless you can leave the room.
ፓርሻል ሲሆኑ ለዩ ነገር አለ ፓራሜትሩ እሱ ጋር ትንሽ
ማን ተሰማይ
እንዴት
ሄሎ ዶክተር ምኑን ፓርሻል በጀት አናላይሲስ እንደገና ስሮ ነው የተባልከ
ፓራሜትሮች ጋር ጨምሮ የተባሉት ነገር አለ እሱ
ከውስጥ ያሉ ፓራሜትሮች ፓርሻል ቤዝ አናላይሲስ ላይ በሙሉ አልተቀመጡም። ስለዚህ አስቀምጥና ፓርሻል ቤዝ አናላይሲስ ላይ ይታይ ነው እንደተረዳሁት።
ሄሎ ዶክተር ሄሎ ኦኬ ወጥቷል መሰለኝ ወጥቷል